PW Hustle Networks present PWR at the Movies. Join the Professor, Tommy Wonder, and JB as they discuss the greatest pro wrestling moments in movie history.
Champion Skull Crusher Johnson is gouging Mad Dog's eyes. Mad Dog staggers back. Skull Crusher adds a shot to the throat.
In 1979, an event occurred that changed the history of mankind as we know it. It was the year of the great championship battle between Skull Crusher Johnson and Mad Dog Joe DeCourso.
And is slingshotting himself around the ring, building up momentum with a full head of steam. He heads for Mad Dog Joe, but the champion goes headfirst into the ropes.
In a remarkable demonstration of wrestling artistry, Mad Dog employed a new and devastating combat technique.
Oh no!
He decapitated his opponent.
Joe DeCourso has just decapitated the champion!
Being a deeply sensitive sportsman, Mad Dog fell into a deep depression and 120 feet into the San Francisco Bay. But did he really? Now, today, every man, woman, and child on the planet asks the number one question: is the vicious new monster called The Mask in reality Mad Dog Joe DeCourso?
I want to ask you a question.
At last, a motion picture reveals the whole mind-snapping truth.
Mad Dog Joe?
Yes, the Mask.
You are an idiot!
Follow investigative director Leslie Uggams and creepy Dr. Tweed as they fearlessly expose the romantic world of championship wrestling.
Oh, movie trash, huh? We're not reporters. We're making a documentary about Joe's life.
You'll see the pop stars and the punks, the beautiful people, the ugly people, the psychotic people.
They're gonna take him! Yeah! They're gonna squeeze his head until it pops like a pimple! Yeah!
Now, all the spectacle and scuzz.
I like the pain!
All the magnificence and monstrosity
I don't even think I know what I knew.
comes to you in one gut-busting movie.
Do you think there's going to be a decapitation?
No.
Well,
GRUNT, the wrestling movie.
Each match said two. Can't tell who you might catch. But look what...
What is going on there, Reflection Knights? What is going on there to the Vito Knights, the dispensary Hami Knights, and the probationary solitary confinement PWC Knights? And before we even get started, I just want to send a special shout out to Jimmy T and the vet from the Wreckage for allowing the professor to bless the wreckage and, on some commentary, if you know what I mean. Sometimes when people watch AEW, they need some objectivity. They don't need this to hear all the negativity. I'm not saying that Vet and Jimmy T are giving negative vibes. No. But you know what? Sometimes when you watch trash on TV, sometimes you just need a little bit of relief. Maybe comedy relief, maybe a positive vibe relief, but some type of relief. But that's where the professor came in. But neither here nor there. But I just want to send a shout out to the Wreckage for allowing the professor to be on the show and just offer some of my most objective commentary on all elite wrestling, Dynamite and Collision. So check that out on the Hami Media Group YouTube page. But with that being said, again, if you're going to hear this broadcast, Reflection Nights, I don't know if it's going to be, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, because again, technically, this is the final show of September for the PWR on the Hami Media Group at podbean.com. We're gonna go on a school break. We're gonna go on a little fall break, a little hiatus, if you will, because the executive producer extraordinaire, Big Ray Hernandez, is gonna be on vacation. He's gonna be at the swingers orgy with his wife, and then my partner in crime, he's gonna be at a swingers orgy with his girlfriend. So again, it just coincides with each other. Lots of orgies, lots of oil, lots of lube. Have fun. Do what y'all do. Just make sure you keep the butthole tight, Big Ray. Keep the butthole tight, TW. Because again, that is the most purest form there is. But anyway, neither here nor there. You look at me like that. It is. I'm just telling you. Keep your butthole tight. Just doing it. Just giving you some advice, man. Jesus Christ, Reflection Nights. Every time I'm trying to give TW advice, he gives me the face. I don't know. He gave me the face like
I don't know why you're interested in our buttholes being tight, dude.
I'm not interested in it. I'm just giving you friendly advice. That's all it is for your vacation.
Don't make the same mistakes you made. I appreciate it. I get
It's not about making the same mistakes. It's called,
You're saying when you shit, it falls out like a trapdoor. I get it. That had you kept it tight, you would shit normal like everyone else.
I shit logs, you shit squirt juices. But anyway, neither here nor there. But
you shit large?
Logs, yes I do.
Large, like from your hole being blown out?
Not large Marge, I shit logs. L-O-G-S, and you shit squirt juices.
Logs.
Yes. But anyway.
That's the weirdest pronunciation of logs I've ever heard.
We're going to hell right now, Reflection Eyes. Pastor Travis Volz, please bless us. Give us some blessings. But anyway, welcome to the PWR podcast here at the Hami Media Group at PWR.com. And welcome to, I know the 12 of you that rise strong, you don't like this genre that we do. But you know what? I like it. TW kind of likes it. So it entertains us because this is the funniest shit we always do. I just wish you all enjoy the fun that we have on this, but we're going back to the movies. But before we talk about that, I must introduce myself because I am vain like that. I must introduce myself so I can get the grays off my chins, the grays off my pubes, the grays off my ears, and again the grays off my nose. When you're getting old, Reflection Eyes, and you see grays coming out of your nose, you got green boogers and white hair. The fuck is that, man? I hate that shit. But anyway, I am the studious one. I am the effervescent one. I am the affluent one. But most importantly, I am the glorious one. The only objective man in this IWC, YWC, PWC, punditry. The only objective man in this political hemisphere. The only objective man in this Twitterverse. The only objective man in this, you can say metasphere. Your friend of mine, the Professor Chabelle Cruz. And I'm not here alone. No. I am here, my brother from another mother. The conservative liberal. The liberal conservative. The solo idiot. Mr. Wonderful. Dr. Frickenstein. And the undisputed, undeniable, Detroit Rock City, Universal Heavyweight Champion of the World. Tommy Wonder. How you doing, my friend?
I'm rough, dude. I didn't want to cancel on you. You just said it all. We're doing no show for a couple weeks. I think we probably get one squeezed in at the end of September, but I'm not really set.
We're not doing any commitments. That's why I just said we're off on September. That's it. This is the hiatus.
But I had blood drawn today, and fun enough, they called and let me know. I have a doctor appointment tomorrow, and thankfully they text you to let you know that because I thought it was Thursday at 3. It's tomorrow at 1:45. So I'm gonna have to run through work and then go straight there in my work van and close and get told to cough and all that jazz. But
it's like you said, when you reach that certain age, everything you forget things. It is what it is. You got to write things down now.
The thing, like I gotta go because at the end of the day, I booked this shit in July. So if I don't go, they're going to charge me for not going, and then they're going to probably take another 2 months to get me in. You got to get a physical once a year, people. You got to do it. And I thought I was going to get this sumbitch in July. Now I'm getting it tomorrow. But the good thing is you don't have to fast. I don't eat till 2 p.m. anyway. So, but my last time frame's 1 to 4 in Ferndale. I plan on being in Ferndale by 1, and I'm going to be done and headed over to the thing. But luckily, it's right by my house.
Isn't it convenient, Reflection Nice? He's going on vacation. I told him to keep the butthole tight, and he's getting the physical. So it all coincides. I kind of knew I had.
And I've been there to Jersey and New York to see you guys, and maybe you come here one day. And Ferndale, I'll take you there because you'll be in all your glory. It is the gay capital of Metro Detroit. It's where all your people hang out. I will take you there. You have a nice fetish-filled weekend. I'll drop you off and pick you back up. I'm not going to hang there because
the only place I ever want to go to is the Blue Oyster Club, which never existed.
There's probably 5 of them there.
It's not. It's Police Academy. You got to see the Blue Oyster Club. There's no such thing right now. That's the only place I would ever want to go to because of the song. But okay, that's neither here nor there. Go ahead, TW.
No, I don't know what else saying. I'll just tell you, I don't know if it's from getting the blood drawn or what, but I took a hard nap this afternoon that I could feel my heartbeat in my ear when I was laying. I stayed the night at Tony's last night, and her bed is like a fucking slab of concrete. And I don't know if you ever do this when you lay on your hand when you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. Mine was like this. So in my dream, I was telling my buddy, yeah, you ever have an ear infection where your ear's swollen closed? And my buddies were like, dude, you got to get that looked at. Then I woke up. It was from laying on my knuckle on the ear. And it felt like, you know, the little monkey with the cymbals? Mm-hmm. It felt like one of them motherfuckers has hit me in this ear, just pounding and hurt. And then the longer I was awake and sat there, the pain kind of went away.
You had that Freddy Krueger dream where you felt something physical while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
It's some weird shit.
Yeah. And dude, today was a rough day. But I didn't want to cancel on you because I know we're not doing. I'm a week from today. I will be on day 2 in Mexico because that's where I'm going. Mexico. I renamed Mexico. Mm-hmm. And I found out yesterday that Delta and American Airlines have renamed their shit on their navigation the Gulf of America, by the way. It says it on their little map. You ever flown Delta? Mm-hmm. You can watch the airplane. You can see where you're at above the country. So if you ever, when you get above North Dakota, you just hurry up and run to the bathroom and shit and flush it, and it'll land on Travis.
Oh boy, I don't think Travis wants that kind of souvenir from you. But anyway, neither here nor there. Let's get into this. So this because TW got to get his bags packed. TW got to get his passport in order. He's got to get his girlfriend's passport in order because he does not want no distractions and nothing to deter him from Mexico and his butthole. But anyway, let's get into this PWR at the movies edition reflection night. And I must give myself a pat on the back like Barry Horowitz. I mean, Jesus Christ. I didn't not even know this movie existed. Certain things just happen when you just type wrestling movies. And this movie just came out of nowhere. And it came out, TW, coincidentally, during Rock and Wrestling years. This motherfucking movie came out in 1985. And in 2025 reflection, I kid you not.
This is 40 years old.
Yeah. I was 8 years old, but
I said the movie is 40 years old right now.
It's 40 years old, and this is the first time I ever saw the movie. And that's the
first time I've ever heard of the movie. So
you too. I never heard of this movie. So you know what? This is the beauty of a nostalgia podcast reflection night because we never even heard of this movie. This is the Mandela effect of movies. Of wrestling movies. We know Body Slam. We know what Hulk Hogan did on A-Team, but I'd never heard of this
reference in this movie.
And the cast of wrestlers in this fucking movie is a who's who, and I can't believe they even took a job with doing this shit. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the movie is called Grunt, the wrestling movie. It was distributed by New World Pictures, and this came out, TW, during the Thanksgiving holiday of 1985. So, before we get into the movie like we always do, we got to talk about the business end of this because, again, we're smack dab into what Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon are doing. Rock and wrestling and the expansion and all that stuff. But lo and behold, TW, this movie kind of like snuck by. Like I said, we know about Body Slam. We know that Roddy Piper wanted to take advantage of, the money train that was happening with rock and wrestling. This movie came out of nowhere. And reflection nights, the wrestlers that were in this movie. You had Dick Murdoch in this movie. You had exotic Adrian Street in this movie. You had Mondo Guerrero in this movie. And that's just to name a few, TW.
Danny Spivey.
Danny Spivey was in this.
A young Danny Spivey.
Yeah, he was not Danny Spike. They called him something
American
else.
Starship Eagle. That's when he teamed with Scott Hall, and they had them funky wolf boots.
Yeah, so all that stuff, TW, like it was amazing that the wrestlers agreed to do this movie. But again, we cannot, deter the fact that this was trying to take advantage of rock and wrestling, what Vince McMahon and WWF was doing at the time. I'm just amazed that these wrestlers did this movie. What say you, Tito? Again, I know how you'll talk about like certain things that happened in this movie, but I'm talking about the business end of this in 1985. These wrestlers, do you think they did this movie? Well, of course they did this movie for the money. They got paid for it. So really, no one's doing anything for free unless it's for charity. But I get that part. But they're getting paid for this shit. But what do you think? Do you think that they thought that this movie was going to be the launching pad for maybe, well, for Starship Eagle, like you said, Danny Spivey? After this movie, probably Vince McMahon called him because he saw a 6'10" young blonde dude.
He became the U.S. Express with Rotunda.
Right. Yep. So maybe some of these people, and I don't want to put Danny Spivey's words in my mouth. That sounds homo-ish. But anyway.
But there's other things that Danny Spivey's you want to put in your mouth.
Hell no. But anyway, I'm just saying that maybe like Danny Spivey's like, I do this movie. Maybe Vince McMahon sees this or one of his minions see it. I get a call, and that's my ticket to get to WWF, which it did because, like you said, the U.S. Express. So what's the HEW? The motivations of these wrestlers to do this movie? Because, again, Reflectionites, if I want to give an analogy of this movie, Grunt the wrestling movie made Body Slam look like The Godfather. That's what I'll say. But anyway, TW, the floor is yours on the business end of this.
So let me just tell you my favorite thing of the whole movie. Actually, it's my second favorite thing of the whole movie. I'll save my favorite for later. Mm-hmm. I love that Dick Murdoch acted like a raving lunatic. Like he wasn't Dick Murdoch, even though he was Dick Murdoch. So I think if you look at the roster of the people that are there, they're either people that never made it to WWE or a long way from having been there. And it's in 85, I guess the NWA is kind of making money with the Great American Bashes and the Starcades. If the Great American Bash was around yet, I don't know, but Starcades.
It was.
But it still wasn't making WWF money. And so these guys doing this is back when wrestlers, like this is right when the territories are dying, dude. So these guys made a living wrestling. They didn't sell cars on the weekend. Guys like Lawler did that because he never left Memphis. You know what I mean? So he kind of had to have a day job, but he got paid enough doing the wrestling there that I don't even think he sold cars. He owned it. But these guys are, they're coming in for 2-3 shots, 2-3 month shots at a time, getting paid to live. That's what they did for a living. They didn't stay in one place so they couldn't have a job. So someone comes up and says, hey, they're making a wrestling movie. You hear Hollywood and wrestling movie. Do I think they got there and were thoroughly disappointed? 1,000%. But they also got paid. And the one thing I would say is I don't know how you feel about this, so I'm going to ask you. At first, as a wrestling fan, I was almost embarrassed when it said not Hulk Hogan, because people thought that was his name, but The Rock was the name for Scorpion King. And I always thought that was silly. Mm-hmm. But then the funniest thing happened when they changed it to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and eventually just Dwayne Johnson. I feel like he lost some of it. I know he's still the biggest actor in Hollywood, highest paid, whatever. But I think when you just hear Dwayne Johnson, it makes him feel normal. So when you got a guy like Adrian Street, Dick Murdoch, John Tolos, they can use their real names. For one, that's free advertising. And it's better than free advertising. They're getting paid to be their wrestling gimmick. And it's in a Hollywood movie that no one saw but you and me. But if it blows up, everyone, it's not like every other movie we've watched with wrestlers in it, they were, except for the Tonga Kid. The Tonga Kid was still the Tonga Kid in Body Slam, right? But everyone else has a different name, including Hogan. He's Thunderlips in Rocky. He's not Terry Bollea. He's not the Hulk. He's not Sterling Golden. He's Thunderlips, and he never wrestled as Thunderlips as far as I know. So this movie for these guys, A, they're getting paid, B, they're getting exposure, and C, they get to use their not shoot names, but their gimmick names. Like, I was stunned when it said Starship on his tights. I thought that's hilarious, but I thought they were going to call him something else. And then when they said American Starship Eagle, I'm like, wow, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. The one thing I will say, and I don't think anyone's gonna watch this movie with us. Before I cut you off with the Hulk Hogan reference, it was like, I remember 18. It was Hulk Hogan, that special guest star Hulk Hogan. By the time it got to No Holds Barred and Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando, it was Terry Hulk Hogan. The Hulk Hogan. Yep.
Yeah.
So
and I think you lose something in that. It's just a catch-22. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost a stigmatism because people are like, that's that wrestler. But at the same time, that's who fucking everyone knows you as. So if someone looks up, like everyone, like my mom was still alive, she would know The Rock. I don't know that she would know the name Dwayne Johnson, no matter how much he puts that on the marquee now. I mean, maybe he's a rare case, but you know, it's just, you know, Dolph Ziggler in the Marine 8. It doesn't say Nick Nemeth. Well, some of his movies say Nick Nemeth, that terrible ass movie we watched. No, that's that Dolph Ziggler too. Him and Kane.
It was a WWE studio movie, so he got to keep the Dolph Ziggler name.
Yeah, so, but you want that because you want people, first of all, you want people to hear that, like if you're Vince and it's your studio, you want them to hear Dolph Ziggler's in the movie, not Nick Nemeth. But these guys, to answer your question, why they would do this. First of all, if someone came up to me today and asked me if I want to be in a fucking movie, the answer is yes. Unless it's gay porn, then I'll give them your number. But if they ask me to be in a movie, I'm going to do it, you know? I ended up being in a movie without even knowing I was being in a movie because I just went and hung out while they filmed. But for certain, I would have done this, especially 85. I would have been 12. I wouldn't have been good. But yeah, I love that Dick Murdoch had fun with it. And dude, I was so wrong about so many people. I thought Mondo was Chavo, and then when he comes out with his fucking underwear as a mask, and then it comes off, and then he just wrestles without, I'm like, boy, this is as low budget as it gets. It felt like Taxi Cab Confessions on HBO at 1 minute. Felt like Guerrilla Radio, but movie version in the beginning when I texted you and said, is this shit in black and white, the whole movie? And then it felt like a documentary. So I said to you before we started recording, this might be the worst one. It's not even close to the worst one, but I still wonder how the fuck this got made. And even more so, how is it still floating around for us to watch it? That's the thing that gets me, but I guess folklore is a thing. So, but
the beauty of YouTube, you find gems.
When I saw, but it's on Tubi. When I saw, that's what Tubi made that hour and 29 minutes, fucking 2 hours and 10 minutes, because I didn't notice it. When I first saw the commercial, it said 23 seconds. I'm like, perfect. And then towards the end, when I see the text, I go, dude, I still got 20 minutes of this shit. I looked, it said commercial 1 of 6 will end in 23 seconds, and they all were 30 seconds. So I was getting fucking 3 minutes worth of commercials every time they did it. And I kept fucking dozing off, so I had to rewind stuff. But I thought the guy with Dick Murdoch was John Tolos. And then I'm like, okay, they clearly wanted Ric Flair and didn't get him. So they got this guy acting like Ric Flair. So I want to know what's your opinion. Who was that guy with Dick Murdoch?
Who was he? He was grunt. He was a grunt brother. That's all I remember.
Yeah, but he was clearly a real wrestler.
Well, his real name, kayfabe or not, is Richard Baer. So I never heard of that. So he could.
He reminded me of the guy that I think is still alive. The guy the Strangler, whatever the hell is that guy? He's in a few movies that we watch. He might be dead now, but he looks like Yogi Berra from the fucking Yankees.
Oh, that always plays like the referee or something like that?
Yeah, and he had a wrestling school. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. You always keep making that joke that he's always in these movies that I pick. It's like,
right.
Wasn't in that one.
And then the whole movie, until the Battle Royal, I thought the fucking mask was Steve Strong. The entire movie.
Well, at least they gave you something. They gave you a cliffhanger. They gave you a sixth sense.
And then all of a sudden, Steve Strong comes out like a jobber. Like, why didn't you even put him in the description? That's what I was looking for. I was a huge Steve Strong fan, man. He was Lord Humongous with that broken leg, remember?
Well, technically, you're kind of confusing two things. So let me just get into the plot of this movie, if you will, Reflection. Because, again, the movie starts out with gangbusters, Reflection. I kid you not, because this is the antithesis of a wrestling movie, because there's not one, there's not two, there's not three, there's not four, there's like 5 or 6 matches. This is like an AEW Dynamite card right now, TW. This is a whole movie.
So it's gonna go till 2 a.m.
Something like that. It felt, well, with you watching those commercials, it did feel like that. But this was a documentary, if you will, Reflection, trying to find out a certain wrestler. Did they do an Eddie and the Cruisers movie type of plot? Did he kill himself because he just couldn't face the realities, the harshness of a reality? So the movie centers around this wrestler called Mad Dog Joe DeCourso. He was played by Magic Schwartz. That's the guy you're talking about. So in the beginning, of this black and white genre that kind of looked like opera style, which TW didn't like, or the Raging Bull style. His first match was for the heavyweight championship. Well, whatever you want to call it. But the first match was for the CWA heavyweight title, and he was going up against Skull Crusher Johnson. First and foremost, Reflectionites, in my history of my fandom of wrestling, I know the Grappler. I know Mr. Wrestling 2. I know the Executioner. What's the common denominator, Reflectionites, of those mask names? I don't hear the guy calling himself the Executioner Smith. Right. I don't hear Mr. Wrestling Johnson.
Right.
I don't hear the Grappler Rodriguez. Motherfucker is a mask guy who gives you his government last name. Skull Crusher Johnson. TW. It's for the world title. Skull Crusher's the heavyweight champion. And, of course, Mad Dog Joe DeCourso is the challenger and all that stuff. And for the first 10 minutes of this movie, TW, it was black and white because they want to show you the grittiness of this heavyweight title match. They wanted to show you the, I guess you could say, like the territories, like the South territories, how rabid the fans are. Again, this is a mockumentary, Reflectionites, with TW. I hate to say this, but the director, Alan Holtzman, who did this movie, he wanted to stay true to the kayfabe, like you always talk about with wrestling movies. He actually wanted to kayfabe like the fans and show you how the fans are really rabid and so passionate about pro wrestling. What say you, TW? At least about the first 10 minutes with the black and white.
That's the part that feels like Taxi Cab Confessions on HBO, but in the arena. And then later they do it just on the street talking to random people. And it felt like a shoot. Like it felt like they were interviewing real people. Like my buddy Jeff, tomorrow's his spaghetti dinner. No one will be able to go because they'll hear this after that. But he did an Axe body commercial with my good man Larry Destiny. Those are my two closest friends in the wrestling business. And what they did was they had extras on one side of a ring. And then I don't know who the third guy was. Jeff was the ref. Larry was wrestling another guy. And what they do is they film one side of the ring with fans. And then they have this camera trick where they duplicate them on all four sides. So all four sides of the ring are the same people. So, but that was in the 90s, early 2000s. This looks like they filmed at a wrestling show because Dick Murdoch was working, and the dude, the Black Cody Rhodes, he was working, and so was the Mask. He was working, and I thought the Mask Coleman or whatever that his name was. I thought he was
just the Mask. That was his character.
Not I'm just talking the other one, the first one. The guy.
Oh, Skull Crusher, capitated. Skull Crusher Johnson.
Yeah, I thought it was Mil Mascaras, and then there were times in the Battle Royal where I thought the Mask was Mil Mascaras, and I'm like, what the hell? And there's a little, I don't know. It would be awesome if I ever talk to him again, if we run into each other, whatever. But he might not have nothing to do with it anyway. But remember how Christian took Tyrannosaurus, what's his name? Luchasaurus. And then changed his look and put a different mask on him, different colors, and renamed him Kill Switch.
Yeah.
In the middle of this movie, no explanation, no nothing. They get rid of but by the way, you saw me looking around in the beginning. I have the mask that the Mask wore without the mohawk because it's Gene Simmons from Kiss. That's what his face was. And then all of a sudden when he fires that chick and hires John Tolos, he's got a different mask and it looks like Luchasaurus. And he's got a different look altogether. And then I noticed in the Battle Royal, there's a fan wearing the first mask. And I'm like,
you're giving the whole movie out. And I'm just
like, you were going to talk about that. But the fan was wearing probably the original mask because they didn't have two. So
but he's not the Mask. He's still who he is. Mad Dog Joe Caruso.
No. I'm talking about. I wonder if Christian stole from this when he gave Luchasaurus a new name. And
you're giving him way too much credit. He probably is like 18, or no, he's not 18. He's probably like 10 or something like that.
He's my age, so in '85 he would have been 11.
Oh, okay. That's just giving him too much credit.
But anyway, first of all, I'm giving this movie too much credit that Christian saw it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Never say never. Right. Just saying that. But anyway, let's talk about the first 10 minutes because again, this was a gritty match. This is the South. This is Memphis. This is NWA. This is not WWF. This is not WWE TW, so this is about blood. Well, we talked. You already kind of gave it away of the ending of this match. Mad Dog Joe Caruso got disqualified for decapitating Skull Crusher Johnson's head. And the funny thing, Reflection, is
funny. You mean the second this movie jumps the shark? That thing?
I don't think the decapitation is funny. No. Don't get me wrong.
What they do after.
That's what I'm talking about. What they do after is keeping it kayfabe with the interviewer. That was the shit I was laughing. I was like, wait a minute. Even Skull Crusher's manager's like, you cannot, in no circumstances, think that a decapitation makes him not the heavyweight champion of the world. He's come back from other stuff worse than this.
Yeah.
That just popped me, Reflection Nights. He literally said that. So, TW, what's the say about the first 10 minutes? I know you hated it in black and white. Once they got colorized, you was like, oh, yes.
It was so guerrilla warfare camera footage that I missed the decapitation. So when they're talking to the guy bum rushing the promoter, and he goes, "We haven't made a decision yet," and it said, "If you get your hair," I thought he said, "If you lose your hair," and he said, "Lose your head." I'm like, what the fuck? Then I rewound it and saw the Ultimate Warrior fucking running the ropes, and then he just stops and then punches him and decapitates him. But the funniest part of it all, and it's all downhill from here, is they're like, well, we're scared of setting a precedent. So they didn't want to say that you can win the title by decapitating someone because they don't want someone else to decapitate another person. And then it says,
it's not Mad Dog's fault. He just did a move.
Right.
It's legal.
He can't continue. He loses the belt. It's a 10 count. He couldn't stand. But here's the thing. It did a fucking SpongeBob SquarePants, and it went 6 years later, right?
Well,
and the guy goes at the press conference, hey, he hasn't defended his title in 6 years, so we're vacating it. And it's like, come on, the fucking rule's 30 days, and this guy said 6 years. But then they went on to tell you what happened to Mad Dog.
Well, they had to give Skull Crusher all the ample time in the world to try to recover from a decapitation. That's what it was. Again, Reflections.
This is the same year as Beetlejuice, right? 85? They probably thought the head would grow back like Beetlejuice.
No, Beetlejuice came out in 88.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Jeez.
I didn't see it till this year. So
you mean Beetlejuice? Oh, Beetlejuice. Yeah, that came out this year.
I still haven't seen that. I saw Beetlejuice 1 this year or late last year.
Your girlfriend made you see it.
Yes. This year's flown by so fast that I can't recall if I fucking said and did shit in the fall or in the spring. I don't know, man. It's crazy. This might be the fastest year ever.
Tony Strange to you for making Watch a Classic. I hope I could get TW, give her my number so this way I can give her a list of movies that you should see so this way you can enjoy yourself. Anyway,
I did not have cable or access to cable until 1988, halfway through 88.
You've had cable for all these years, and you still have, finally
watched The Breakfast Club in 2014. Finally.
Oh, I'm just saying. But anyway,
it was 29 years old when I saw it.
Can we get back to the movie? I know you. Yeah. I know you want to keep talking about this movie, but anyway, after decapitation, for Mad Dog Joe DeCourso, it's I don't know why they said DeCourso, but I guess it was trying to be a tongue twister joke during the whole movie because even the director couldn't even pronounce his name right. I'm not going to pronounce his name right, Reflection. So, I might just say DeCourso. But anyway, neither here nor there. But Mad Dog has a moment of reflection, if you will. Not pro wrestling reflection, but a moment of reflection because after all this, TW, after the decapitation, of course, the fans kind of boo Mad Dog for, decapitating Skull Crusher Johnson. It wasn't a standing ovation. They weren't cheering. Well, he did hold the belt for a little bit, so he thought he was going to be celebrating with the crowd, but the crowd was mad that Skull Crusher is decapitated. But again, after, I guess, the fans booed Mad Dog, which kind of like caught him off guard, Mad Dog went into, he had a Buddhist moment, if you will. He had to get away from reality. He had to get away from the world. And the myth, the urban legend, if you will, Reflection, is that he jumped off a bridge and committed suicide.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, TW's favorite bridge. But anyway, 6 years later, if you will, Reflectionites, a new wrestler dons the indie circuits, making a name for himself because he came from, I believe it was either Russia or France, but it's from either one of those countries. And his name is Just the Mask. And the director of this mockumentary or documentary, Alan Holtzman, wants to prove without a shadow of a doubt that the mask is Mad Dog Joe DeCourso as the mask reflection. So that's the whole plot of this movie. He wanted to prove a point. And for that mockumentary, to prove his point more, he recruited the number one fan of either Mad Dog Joe DeCourso or the number one mask fan, and his name was Dr. Tweed. So I'm just giving you the logistics, TW. So what say you about that? Because again, this is now a documentary, interviewing wrestlers, interviewing fans on the streets and all that stuff. That's basically the whole gist of this movie.
There's so much stuff that I'm so embarrassed that I didn't see coming, that when it happens at the end, I'm just like, what the fuck? But the whole time I'm watching this movie, I can't help but think, what the fuck is the point? Like, where are we going? Where are we going? They made it so obvious that he was him, and Randy of the Redwoods is the documentary guy, and he's trying to find. He doesn't even bring up finding a death certificate till the end. He's like,
wait. For people like me who did not know who Randy of the Redwoods was, who is Randy of the Redwoods?
So
for all the 12 that rise from.
Back in the day when MTV actually stood for music television and not miscellaneous television, they would have your regular commercials that everybody else had, but then they would have little vignettes. Jimmy the cab driver, who is Donnell Logue, I believe is his name. He was on Sons of Anarchy for a bit, but he had a show like Married with Children and ABC. You know who Donnell Logue is.
I have to see his face. But
yeah, you know him if you saw him. He's a piece of shit liberal on the internet. But but Donnell Logue was Jimmy the cab driver. Then you had, who's the guy that was married to Rebecca Romaine Samos? Jerry
O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell had Joe's apartment, which turned into a movie where he had roaches in his apartment. That was the vignette. And then Randy of the Redwoods was a hippie that was stuck in the 80s. Like, it was, he still thinks it's the 60s and 70s, but it's the 80s. So he's probably 85. He's at least 40 years old in this movie, if not older. So that's what the gimmick was that he was a 50-year-old hippie from the 60s and the 80s, or 40-year-old hippie. And it's pretty cult classic shit. When you're a kid, if they ever play This Is the 80s or whatever, there's probably a reference of either Jimmy the cab driver, Randy of the Redwoods, or Joe's apartment with the roaches if they're doing MTV spots. But and then remember who I thought he was at first, but then I immediately realized it was Randy of the Redwoods, because he's done other stuff too, very low budget like this. But I catch him all the time and think that's cool. This is my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl. I thought he was one of them, the two Daryls.
Oh, that's Rick Moranis and fucking Dave Thomas, right?
No.
Oh,
that's
Bob Newhart. That's Bob
Newhart show. Yeah. But they also did the A&W commercials and stuff like that. Of the three of them, one talked and the other two didn't talk.
The only white guy DJ I knew from that time area was Pauly Shore. That was it. That's why I didn't know Randy the
DJ.
Redwood. Yeah, Pauly Shore was a DJ or VJ.
Randy the Redwoods is not a DJ. It was like little commercials.
No, he was doing but Pauly Shore was the only white guy on MTV I know and I can remember. He was the VJ.
I know another one. I know a white DJ from MTV on Carson Daily Live. Kid Rock, motherfucker. That's where he got his start.
Can we get back to the movie? Can we get back to the movie? You already explained Randy of the Redwoods, but I'm just saying, the whole purpose of this movie was proving that the mask was actually Mad Dog Joe DeCourso. And some of the funny things about this TW was, like, Mad Dog had a tattoo. And he vehemently could see that the mask, the guy did not have the tattoo. I think it was on his right arm, but I don't care.
Right.
Neither here nor there. But
same chest tattoo, different arm tattoo.
He had to go to a doctor or a plastic surgeon to give the myth or give one of those kind of like conspiracy theories that he went to France to find a plastic surgeon to actually rip off his arm and replace it and do an arm transplant. I kid you not. They interviewed a doctor who gave out this felonious thing to prove certain points out there. But again, like I said, it's Alan Holtzman as the director of this mockumentary, and of course, the number one fan, Dr. Tweed. So, with that being said, TW, we got to talk about some of these matches here, because again, like I said, this is like AEW. This is AEW Dynamite. There was a lot of this was the wreckage, if you will. This was Dynamite and Collision all put together, and it's called the wreckage. So TW, we got to talk about the handicap match between the Mask and the Grunt brothers, played by Dick Murdoch and Richard Bryant, and this was 2-on-1. Again, the Mask is already making a name for himself, and of course, even the interview, even before getting to the match in Hackensack, New Jersey. And another thing about this movie, Reflection Nights, is when it was black and white, certain things you could tell is like the same arena, the same kind of arena setting. But then they had to say, well, one match took place in Hackensack, New Jersey. One match took place.
Great name, by the way. I pop for Hackensack, New Jersey every time I hear it.
It's a real state. I'm just saying, it's a real city and state. But anyway, one place is Biloxi, Mississippi. One place is, San Francisco, Camp Floyd. So, they wanted to keep it kayfabe that this was touring all over the world. So before anything, TW, what say you about the handicap match between the Grunt brothers and the Mask?
It's good, but the next handicap match is way better. This one.
I know you're gonna talk about the midgets, but this is why I love TW, because always he thinks about some things 10 minutes ahead, 10 steps ahead.
Oh, because I told you I had a favorite part and a second favorite part, and that's my favorite. But there's no continuity in this, and so they weren't. Were they tag champs? Yeah, because the other tag team championship match was a flashback match to 77, but he wrestled them. I believe they were tag champs. I can't remember how the match ended, but he basically just fucking mollywopped them like it was Ryback versus two J-Brones. And
the match was literally Goldberg. He was doing his Goldberg world tour
before Goldberg. But but yeah, but like I said, Dick Murdoch was working, and also honorable mention for great moments in this movie is no other match do they do this in, but in this match, he takes an inverted atomic drop, and they make the sound like his balls got crunched up inside of the thing, and then ring a bell. And then Dick Murdoch has the greatest face selling it in the corner, like his balls just exploded. And I thought, that's gold right there.
It's very much gold. And Dick Murdoch had a face for radio, but that's just the thing.
Face and body. Dick Murdoch is the prototype wrestler. Maybe John Tolos in his prime, but Dick Murdoch, for me, he's the quintessential grandpa wrestler who's got them long ass white legs,
but he's
no
got
knee pads.
But he's got a catalog. He's got the Grunt movie, and he was in the Wrestler, the Vern Gagne wrestler movie.
But I'm saying Vern Gagne is another grandpa wrestler who's got tights, boots, and no knee pads with them long ass giraffe legs that make it look like your grandpa came out of the bedroom in his drawers.
Yeah.
It's a terrible look.
Again, the winner of most of these matches is the Mask, because, like I said, it is a Goldberg World Tour, if you will, by the time we get to this Battle Royal. But there was a backstory, as TW talked about here, because whatchamacallit, while the director is trying to give you a backstory of the Mad Dog Joe DeCourso, Joe DeCourso actually was, I think you said, like, a tag team champion with the Black Cody Rhodes, a.k.a. Captain Carnage.
Yep.
And Captain Carnage and Mad Dog was a flawless tag team, if you will, Reflection Nights. But something happened that Mad Dog blew a fuse, blew a gasket, and beat the shit out of everybody. TW, now we got storyline here. We got a reason. But Captain Carnage, why did he have to take the brunt of it? Why does the black guy always dies in a horror movie? So why does the black guy got to take all the hits?
Dude, I got more questions about that Black Cody Rhodes at the end. Dude, the end is even more like you're saying now. He got pinned, though. He got pinned by that's what I thought were the Grunt brothers, were the two steroid guys that they were wrestling when he got showboaty. So this is the one critique I have of this movie. I don't believe a wrestler was behind it, because they clearly don't know. First of all, they use good guy and bad guy, not heels and faces. Most wrestling insiders would use heels and faces, right? He's a heel, and then when he comes back, they say he's a good guy in the Mask and Virtue and all this. Yet every fucking match, he's Hulk Hogan raking eyes and scraping the back and choking and kicking, and his valet was the meanest bitch around, but he's supposed to be the good guy.
That's a funny thing. You know, I don't mean to cut you off, but the mask initially, this was like it was I don't want to call it a maturation of the character of the mask, but you saw from the beginning, he had all the pomp and circumstances, like the kids loved him, you know, women wanted to sleep with him, the men wanted to be him and shit like that. And then later on to the movie, like you said, he had the French ballet and then dropped her ass and then got John Tolos and then got more evil, more vindictive, more aggressive, more dirty and all that
I
stuff.
understand why they did it. Like, I'm going to break it down for you why they did it. Because because the whole idea of the mask being Mad Dog was preposterous because of how evil Mad Dog was. And this guy's the complete opposite. He's a good guy with virtue, but then he slowly turns heel. So now it's adding fuel to the fire that it's him and his true colors are showing. They just didn't do it well. They didn't. He just and he and you. Why this ballet?
Well, it was. I think it had something.
Booked him against the fucking midgets.
No, it wasn't that. It was because of she booked him on a talk show, the conservative talk show host Wally George, who made a cameo appearance. Because I remember that guy.
Right, but he doesn't quit her until the midget match because he kept just beating the fuck out of these midgets, and she said something to him, and he goes, "You're fired." Then he rolls out of the ring and leaves, hops in his fucking Rolls Royce, and throws his robe at her. And then you never see her again.
Well, again, like I said, that you know,
she probably could only film for so long, but they sent her back. Ice got her.
No, but like I said, it's the maturation of the Mad Dog character because again, he came with all the pomp and circumstance. Like you said, he was a man of virtue and all that stuff. And again, maybe the temptations on the road, maybe all the fast money and all that stuff. He got evil, but it was supposed to be Mad Dog Joe DeCourso and all that stuff. But before we talk about the midget match. There's another match before that with what you would call it, the
El
mask.
Toro?
Yeah, against El Toro, Mondo Guerrero.
Yep.
But I want to talk about again another backstory because again we talk about the first backstory. He was a tag team champion with Captain Carnage, but we also have to talk about the backstory that Mad Dog, because he committed suicide, quote unquote. He left his woman. He had a girlfriend. It wasn't the French ballet reflection. It was another girl who kind of semi-managed him, managed his career, managed his money and all that stuff. So I just wanted to bring that out there because, again, during this mockumentary or documentary TW, they attempted to interview his original girlfriend, and she was not too receptive of that. What say you about that?
She gets the award for Best Actress and Worst Actress at the same time. Like, the reason I say that
you give her an Oscar and a Razzie at the same time.
Yes, because she's fucking trying to make Shine out of shit. Even all the way to the end where she's throwing the shit down the window at him on the steps. But the writing is so piss poor. Those two dudes are nice to her the whole time. They're never mean. They're never pushy. They're thank you. Can I have another? But she's mad at them. So whether she just poetic licensed the anger or, whatever, she made you empathize for her. Like, man, her man's been gone for 6 years, which again is another 6 years. And she was adamant. That's not Joe. Joe's gone. Blah, blah, blah. He's in China with Elvis or whatever. She made a bunch of comments like that.
She was like, he's gone with some other bitch or some other slut, something like that. But
she was adamant it was not.
The mask was not him. Yeah. So with that being said, TW, we have to at least talk about the mat because, again, the maturation of what he was, pomp and circumstances, the man of virtue, he was starting to slowly turn heelish. And you saw it here with El Toro, a.k.a. Mondo Guerrero. Again, Mondo is athletic. We can't deny that because Mondo can flip. He could do the flying head scissors. If he wanted to, he could have done a frog splash because the Guerreros were ahead of their time. So no one gives the Guerreros a lot of credit. So what say you about that match?
Well, rewind a little bit. The guy that was teaming with Dick Murdoch was doing fucking walking the ropes and doing headlock takeovers and stuff like that. And he was 60. So obviously there's guys that did this shit. And it's probably the guys that went to Mexico or are from there or Japan, and they came back with all that shit. But at the end of the day, this is the match where I started noticing El Toro is a heel and Mask is the babyface, yet the Mask is wrestling heel and El Toro is popping the crowd like a babyface. And
this was WrestleMania 13 before WrestleMania 13. This was the Stone Cold Bret Hart switch.
Or Rock and Austin or Rock and Hogan at Toronto. But the funny thing is but it's also they're showing the crowd is turning on him. But nonetheless, he's supposed to be this babyface, and there's never a point where he wrestles babyface. And El Toro did, or El Huro, whatever the fuck his name was.
El Toro.
But the fact that he had underwear over his face and he looked like Mushmouth from the fucking Bad Albert show, and then he just all of a sudden doesn't. He's just wrestling without the mask. And I'm like, the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I know him personally, so I don't blame him because I'm sure it wasn't his idea, was when Al Snow debuted as Avatar, and he wore the fucking mask to the ring, and then took it off to wrestle, and then put it back on to leave. I was like, what in the fuck is that? Because the whole deal is he's supposed to be this Japanese guy, pulls the mask off to show the whitest of white dudes, then puts it back on and leaves. And it did not last long. Do you even remember Avatar?
Yeah, I remember.
And then he became Leif Cassidy right after that.
Certain things don't work.
And he had a gimmick on the indies. He wrestled as Al Snow and also as Shinobi as a heel. And he looked like Shinobi from the video game.
He was Shinobi. I thought it was a different guy in USWA territories. I didn't know that was Al Snow.
Al Snow was Shinobi. And I think ECW used him as Shinobi, like to do jobs. I don't know if it was ECW full on or if when they were wrestling around here with the ECW guys. But he wrestled as Shinobi. Almost every show I wrestled on in the beginning, he did double duty. He was Al Snow and he was Shinobi.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But he looked just like the Shinobi video game, but black, not blue. It was all black because you can't get sued.
Well, of course, the hair gave him that good look with the mask on too. So it was a good look. But again,
he was over too.
Well, again, it gave Vince McMahon called him for a reason, so it is what it is. So with that being said, TW, again, he wins against El Toro, but again, the fans start to turn on him, and then the full-on turn finally took place on a conservative talk show hosted by Wally George, and he played himself on this thing, and I don't remember Wally George per se, TW, but again, he was Bill O'Reilly. He was Sean Hannity before they got that platform on Fox News and all that stuff. So, again, what say you about the talk show? Because again, he was trying to goat him. He was trying to goat the Max. Are you Mad Dog Joe DeCourso? And all that stuff. He was trying to bait him, goat him, and of course, he was saying that that people, the fans of wrestlers. Fans who love pro wrestling should go to hell, are going to hell too. So all that stuff, all nestled all together in one.
I think he mixed two people up. I think that was the news sports anchor guy that said, if he had more money, he would hire a hitman to put all athletes to sleep because he hates sports.
I don't know if I mix. I don't know if I'm mixing.
Did you compare this guy to?
Who?
The Bill Donahue guy. Yeah, who'd you compare him to?
No, I didn't compare him. I just said he was Bill Riley and Sean Hannity before they got the spotlight on Fox.
But to me, he came off more as a Robert Downey, whatever the fuck his name, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, Morton Downey Jr.
Morton Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. Morton Downey Jr. That sounded right. He reminded me of Morton Downey Jr. because Bill O'Reilly and who you call Sean
Hannity.
They would never even touch wrestling.
These are your boys. You asked me the names. These are your boys. What are you talking about?
Now they would probably do wrestling because it's such mainstream. But in 85, there's no way those guys are talking wrestling. It's beneath them, right? So
he got to keep kayfabe himself. He can't say he likes it.
But my thing was he was good. He came across as Morton Downey or Bobby Heenan or Jesse Ventura. But most of his burns didn't land on the person he was doing it to because they didn't do anything to set him up. Like, what I mean? It was almost like he had these ribs that he was saying one way or the other, and they didn't volley back and forth. Like the guy playing the record, nothing he was doing matched what that guy was doing, right?
Right.
And so finally, when they bring Buddy out, the mask, then he gets pissed off enough that the best part is Before him, the record player guy gets stopped by the police. The Mask gets up, starts whooping ass, and the cameraman is the one trying to stop him with the camera. He still got the camera, and he picked him up, put him to the table, and it didn't break. And while he did that, the guy with the cameraman also powered it on the table. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? And then the police showed up. Like, they just got back from taking the other guy to the car.
The Mask caused the riot. He did all that. And then that just showed the de-evolution of, again, he was the man of virtue, and he's not. He's going into the temptation of the dark side and all that stuff. And now it's time for TW's favorite part of this movie. I knew it was going to be his favorite part of this movie because the next match before the Battle Royal was a match against 4 midgets. Not one, not 2, not 3, but 4 midgets. The French valet booked this match, and again, for the pomp and circumstances of the Mask, he thinks he's a good guy, and now he's got to beat up these 4 midgets. TW, why is this your favorite part of this movie?
For when they tried to do the fucking Voltron Stacticon, and he just putting them on the rope and then does the fucking fling them back, and he kicks out on all 4 of them, and that's when he yells at his valet, goes, "Fuck you, you're fired." Like, I thought it was because she booked him in this match, and then he talked in the car. The only time he talked in the whole movie, she couldn't pronounce behemoth. She said Behemoth or whatever, and he goes, "Behemoth," and then the guy goes, "You talked," and then he fucking clobbered him and knocked out Randy the Redwoods.
So basically, you just love the Mask just flinging these midgets around.
Loved it. It was hilarious, and it looked like the Von Erichs in midget form.
So now we get to the crust of this movie. So, we're abbreviating this as best as we can. So, now we see a very popular wrestler of the mid-'80s, and that's Exotic Adrian Street. And in this movie, TW, he has kind of like his own version of the Piper's Pit. And Exotic Adrian Street introduces the Mask with his new manager, John Tolos. And of course, now, in my humble opinion, you can agree with this. The Mask is embracing the heel part. He's like, fuck this. John Tolo.
And he's got a new look.
He's got a new look. I guess the Mask is a little bit darker, whatever you will. But then, I like the back and forth, actually, between Exotic Adrian Street and the Mask. Because, again, Exotic Adrian Street ain't afraid of nobody. And he's got the psychological advantage over you because he's just like Goldust Reflectionites in the 90s. He uses his effeminate side of himself to make a hetero guy feel a little bit uncomfortable. But of course, the way Exotic didn't do it, he was not like flirting with him, TW, like, I want to suck your dick and all that stuff. But he's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. I might be effeminate, but I'm going to kick your ass. What say you about the back and forth between Adrian Street and the Mask and John Tolos?
Dude, when he kept hitting the microphone on John Tolos' lip, all I thought is, that's what happens to fucking Professor every time he lets a dude slide in his DM, except it's not a microphone. He just slaps his lip with the fucking mushroom. But it was clearly trying to be Piper's Pit. It was funny, but then when the set gets taken down and all the wrestlers are getting dressed behind there, and then they all try to scurry, like you said, they try to keep kayfabe. They're trying to make it where the guys who hate each other aren't by each other, so they scurry. Then other wrestlers hold the wall back up. It's actually a bright spot in this otherwise dull-ass movie. It's funny. But, again, it leads to nothing but more confusion because he's basically telling the Mask, I'm winning the belt, motherfucker. And then in the Battle Royal...
Well, I can answer your question here because, again, you have to remember this movie is under... You have to look at it through the eyes of the mockumentary director. He's trying to find out the truth. And at this certain point of this movie, he's frustrated. He's like, I'm never going to get the truth. So you have to remember that part. So he's like, I don't even believe that this is Mad Dog. This was all worthless. I wasted my time, my energy, and my money for something that no one really cares about. But the only guy that's trying to keep him going is Dr. Tweed a little bit and all that stuff. So now we get to the main event here, Reflectionites, and it's the Battle Royal to crown a new heavyweight champion because, again, after 6 years, when you're decapitated, they gave you a 6-year recovery time, and he didn't, and Skull Crusher Johnson couldn't recover in time. So I think it was a 13-man Battle Royal. I don't remember all the players, TW. I remember
it was 10. It was 10, then ended up becoming 12 because they're fucking idiots. And the only reason I know it became 12 it's because the end of the movie explains something else.
Mhm.
But I remember when he said we're going to have 10 men, and I go, you can't have a tournament with 10 men. And he goes, Battle Royale. And then he said Eliminator. And I'm like, these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And we're not to the battle. Are we in the Battle Royale yet?
Yeah.
Okay. The very first fucking thing in this Battle Royal is a stack of pancakes on top of one dude to pin him.
Mhm.
Everyone else gets thrown over the top rope. But that fucking giant who did the carnival gimmick that they had earlier in the movie, because we didn't talk about the guy in the wheelchair.
If you want to, go ahead.
Ed Lewis. Is that the guy? Ed the Strangler Lewis. Is that the guy in all the movies you have me watch? What the fuck's that guy's name? Anyway, the guy in the wheelchair where he's like, yeah, he was my bread and butter. He managed Black Cody and Mass Dog when they were tag team.
Dude, his name is Captain Carnage. How can you forget Captain Carnage?
Dude, he's Cody Rhodes without blonde hair, dude. He's Cody Rhodes without hair.
He was bold, man. He was Tony Atlas.
He's Cody Rhodes without hair, but had the same fucking jacket that Cody wears. He's fucking all jacked up.
Jesus. We don't remember all the players, but the Mask was in it. Captain Carnage was in it. Danny Spivey was in it. Adrian Street was in it. That much. I think Dick Murdoch, I think the Grunt brothers made a cameo here, and maybe El Toro again. So
in the Battle Royal?
Yeah, in the Battle Royal. So,
There was Steve Strong, Starship, the Mask, obviously, that giant from the carnivals, and then some dude that looked like, remember the fat twin brothers from Congo twins? Is that what the fuck they were called, from Puerto Rico?
I think so.
Well, they had like the Sergeant Craig Pittman fucking outfits or Mounties. They look like the Mounties.
Pretty much.
Anyway, there was a guy that looked like them. Oh, we missed the guy, the fake junkyard dog in the beginning, bitching that he didn't have a headdress when he was supposed to be a warrior.
I can't remember all these names. It's just the I only remember the important players. But anyway, neither here nor there. But it was the Battle Royal, so whatever spots caught your eye, and of course, the plot twist at the end, it's all yours, TW.
The plots, dude. So, and I am convinced I'm going to fucking torture myself and go back and watch this. At the very end, this is actually good writing.
Okay.
This is the last we see of Black Cody. He fucking puts him in the ropes on purpose.
Because I think the final three was Adrian Street, the Mask, and Captain Carnage or Black Cody.
That's not good part of it, because that part, Black Cody moves out of the way and he hits Adrian Street. And then Adrian Street's like, why'd you hit me? And he's like, I'm sorry. And then hits him on purpose. So the spot was the babyface ducks, and they should have been like, oh, and then the babyface should have powdered him out. And I thought he was going to win, right? They were put the black guy over, 85, progressive. Nope. They fucking have him just dump Adrian out of there. Then he fucking purposely puts Black Cody in the fucking neck vice that the fucking Mil Mascaras accidentally got caught in.
Oh, and we can't forget that Black Cody was managed by Mad Dog's ex-girlfriend. So I just want to give you
Lola.
That was part, the plot twist. The plot thickens, if you will.
Who, by the way, took an ass beating on Mask. Took bumps. So now he's doing the Ultimate Warrior run. So now you're certain it's him. And then the fucking garage door opens, and I swear to you, when they first showed fucking James Storm, when they first showed him, it was Magnum TA. It was Magnum TA sitting on that motorcycle. And all I thought was, I'll bet you he was supposed to be the guy and then had his accident. Dude, that's Magnum TA on that motorcycle.
This is 85, man. This ain't 86. This is 85. He was good. He didn't get the accident.
I know. I'm telling you, he was on the fucking motorcycle. I was like, that's fucking Magnum. Because if you watch, they never really show that guy up first. At first, I thought he was Dr. David Schultz, right? Then when they show flashbacks and he's sitting there with his girlfriend in their apartment with the video that they watched, they didn't show him up close. I'm like, man, I don't know if that's Steve Strong. And I'm sitting there, and then finally he comes through with that motorcycle and takes 37 minutes to drive his bike down there, right? And then this dude's still running the ropes. And then instead of being the hero, he slides in the ring. So I'm sure he just dumped his bike and just takes one for the team like Seth did for John Cena at WrestleMania, where he takes it and then proceeds to get his ass beat with a chain, gets beat up by a manager. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of hero is this? He's getting beat up by everybody. And then that's when Lola jumped on Tolos's back and did all the other stuff. And he comes out. But the ending is so horrible. So horrible. How does he not, like, what a redemption? And you could have done this. You could have said that Black Cody was the masked fucking Strangler Lewis's fucking son, right? And he knew it because it was his tag team partner and all this. He could have eliminated the mask. He's not in the match. Now Black Cody's the world champ, right? Instead, we never fucking see Cody again. They talk about fucking Buddy. He got
his neck hurt, so he couldn't continue.
Right, but he would have just not been able to. He had 6 years to defend it, to heal. But the guy, when he unmasks him, looks like the Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back, where he cuts off Vader's head and it's Luke's head in the fucking helmet. Didn't it make you feel like it was another version of him? I'm like, oh, we're going Star Wars with this.
Once Mad Dog came in the ring, we knew that the mask wasn't Mad Dog. That was the
right.
twist.
But then when he unmasked him, it still looked like Mad Dog.
It wasn't like Mad Dog. They never said in the mockumentary TW. To be fair here, they never said Mad Dog had a brother. That that could have made more sense. Like if he had an identity,
or it was his dead spirit. It was fucking Faker He-Man.
Jesus Christ.
And then the end, the guy shows up at the fucking fur fucking seat store for fucking Torturo, who's there.
At the end, now Dr. Tweed was almost pissed about it because his whole reason for being was proving that he was right all along. And now the director has a new sense of positivity to real reflection. I was like, I got the film. I got an ending now. I got everything I need.
No, he doesn't have an ending. He needs to find an ending. And he goes, yeah, but he came back and he proved he wasn't him. He goes, yeah, but he was the 13th man and he got disqualified. So first they say it's a 10-man battle royal. Then they say he's the 13th man in and he's disqualified. And fucking the Russian guy who looked like Steve Kern, he never went over the top rope. He got kicked under the rope, and then he ran.
It wasn't. I think the rules was through the ropes. It didn't matter over the top. It was through the ropes or pin or
just
submission.
Out of the ring.
Yeah, just out of the ring. Once you're out of the ring, you're eliminated. So that's the way.
And then another honorable mention.
Okay.
When Steve Kern and Adrian Street are fucking fighting to the back, an old ass fan just runs up and fucking punches one of them in the back. I think it was Adrian Street. How the fuck is the Russian the good guy? It's an 85. In 85, the Russian's the good guy.
Well, remember, after Rocky IV, then people started feeling sympathetic towards Russia. Rocky did that.
It made people like Russia?
Yeah.
I must break you. He killed the black American hero, Apollo Creed, dude. That's not...
But Rocky beat Drago bad. So he embarrassed Russia. So I guess maybe that kind of...
Didn't they hug at the end, too? Like, Drago goes, hey, Brish.
No.
Whatever.
No, because then it would have made no sense with Creed too, because Drago needed revenge on Rocky and Creed.
Huh?
Yeah. You didn't watch Creed 2. You gotta watch that. Tony,
I've never watched Creed 1.
Well, Tony, you got a trilogy. You got Creed 1, 2, and 3. Tony, please do that for.
There's 3 fucking Creed movies?
Yes.
I tried watching the first Creed, and it reminded me of fucking like The Principal. It did not feel like a boxing movie.
It's okay. But anyway, again, I think we actually make the movie better if they did it this way.
Yeah.
If the guy in the mask was, let's say, his identical twin brother or just his brother per se, maybe he was jealous of Mad Dog. He got the woman, he got the money, he got the glory, and he found this was the only way because he was his size, he had his kind of dimensions, and he had the long hair. It would have worked. Like, oh my God, I must beat my brother.
You thought it was DDP the whole time.
Damn, then that makes DDP really old. But anyway,
dude, he's 80. He just had a heart attack or something.
He had a heart murmur. I don't think it was a heart attack, but he had to.
It wasn't his heart saying hello. It was his heart saying, "Hey." It just looked at it.
Who would have thought that yoga did that? But anyway, neither here nor there. But TW,
yoga's intense.
It is. I need to break my back out like that. But what say you, TW, about this movie? Again, we've laughed about this movie. There's a lot of plot holes, plot fixer-uppers that we can do here. And, of course, the cast of characters. And not to mention, gorgeous ladies of wrestling. Queen Kong.
Queen Kong was in there. Yeah.
Was in this movie. She had a cameo appearance. She was defeating somebody. So again,
and if you go back and watch, her tampon string is hanging in her fucking because she has the leggings under her tights, and it's there the whole time. I thought it was a seam, but it's only on one side. It's her tampon string.
You out of all that, you caught that. I didn't even see
her fucking
that.
ass was in the camera. Oh, we didn't talk about the fucking girl's titties. They show titties in this movie.
That's okay.
Oh, did they delete it off YouTube? But it's only on the Tubi version.
No, I saw it. I just like
you did Miss Elizabeth, itsy bitsy polka dot bikini.
Yes. So TW, what say you about this movie? Give it a grade if you want, and then we're getting out of here for this hiatus.
All right. If we're being honest, it's a fucking E, dude. It's god awful, right? However, I'm gonna do something I never do. Whether it be wrestling with zombies, whether Body Slam I didn't hate.
Ready to Rumble.
Ready to Rumble. I'm always just grateful that they're making movies about wrestling. You know, I don't like The Wrestler. You know, it took me a long time to fucking accept The Wrestler because I felt like it was shitting on the business. But at the same time, it's like, nah, man, that's literally The Wrestler's perspective is that movie.
That too, but it went behind the curtain even more. This movie respected kayfabe so much that it was supposedly realistic. So I'm just wondering, we got to give Grunt a kind of props on that.
So I would say this: I wouldn't go out of my way to watch this, but it's on Tubi. The YouTube version looked like someone fucking dragged it on asphalt and then fucking still.
It was on a VHS tape and they downloaded it to YouTube.
Tubi's is better quality than that. You just got to go through fucking 30-second commercials at a time.
I don't. I got ad-free Tubi. I keep telling you that.
On the gimmick?
Yeah.
Listen to this shit. So I got that IP Vanish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I watch kayfabe. I watch the Netflix in Canada, so I get SmackDown, Raw, all the pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. But Sling, I just signed up for Sling TV just because it's infuriating trying to watch. Like I tried to watch football yesterday and I don't have cable and I couldn't get Fox to come up for nothing. So I just signed up for Sling. I get it for the first month for $30 and then it's $60 after that. But ESPN is fucking dumb. When you have ESPN Plus, it doesn't come with ESPN. You have to have a sign in, right? So whenever I try to watch it on the cheater apps and stuff, it fucking buffers. I gotta fucking reload and shit like that, even with IP Vanish. So I put that Sling in there today. When I went to watch Sling, it won't sign in if I have IP Vanish on.
So you gotta take it off.
I had to turn IP Vanish off to get Sling to work because it said your internet connection isn't there. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I bet you if I turn it on after I turn on Sling, it'll fucking shut off. That's probably coming. That's probably coming, man. Someone's probably gonna figure out a way to get rid of that IP Vanish.
The good times, they don't last forever. Reflection, I said. So with that being said, we close on this PWR at the movies again. Me and TW are very entertained doing this. I know this is the least popular genre that we do, so I already know the views are gonna be low, but it's okay. Just give it a chance, Reflection. Just give it a chance. But we will be on hiatus and we should be back after TW's butthole vacation and Big Ray's butthole vacation is concluded. We're back in October. So with that being said, TW, give out those socials so we can get out of here.
I was trying to set this up so I could read it without looking like I'm reading it. All right. The Pro Wrestling Coalition Network sponsors us at PWC Network at podbean.com, where you can also find Hameen Media Group at podbean.com, as well as channelattitude.com. Our X is at PW Reflection. Nuts and Volts PW is Travis Volt's Twitter. If you're flying over North Dakota, take a shit in the airplane, it will land on him. At Big Ray Hernandez for all social media, and every Wednesday live he's doing the Next Level podcast on YouTube, as well as Tuesdays doing the Raw recap. You can find me on X and Instagram at TommyWonder19, Snapchat #Wonder, Facebook.com/TommyWonder, and at the Tommy Wonder is my TikTok and my other X.
And I will upload this. You see the link in your description on the YouTube's Reflection Ice. You follow that to my YouTube page at PWSO PR Web. That's PWSO Profit. Will take you to the Pro Wrasslin Reflection YouTube page. And if A-Track Brown, the slow ass motherfucker, uploads his on his end, it will be on the PWSO YouTube networks. Follow my brothers in arms, A-Track Brown, the king of the reactions at the number 8 TRAC Brown, and of course, the man with all the documents, Billy Ray Valentine at OB1. You know me. Again, we'll be on hiatus for the month of September. We'll be back in October, the new fall season of the PWR. And Donnie Day One, I know you want to get to 200, but you know what? I didn't plan on this. People want to take vacations. I can't say no. And, you know, their buttholes has got to remain tight for some strange reason. So, you know, they want to loosen it up, but neither here nor there. But, Donnie, I won't forget you on episode 200. With that being said, I'm the professor. That's Mr. Wonderful, the solo idiot, Dr. Freakenstein, and the undisputed, undeniable Detroit Rock City Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world, Tommy Wonder, saying good night, and we'll see you in October for the PWR podcast at the Hami Media Group at podbeam.com. Peace.
Shaka brother.
Nobody said that in that movie.
I was crushing.